And we are live, streaming from my fancy studio space in my office. I am Kevin James, joined by my good friends, Dan Hamilton and Neil Cicierega. How are you guys doing?
Doing all right.
Doing good.
I think it's still working, which is always a plus.
It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like it.
Let's see. Is the chat working?
Yeah, we have an atmospheric man saying hi.
Cool.
And JC strikes again saying hello. So all the bases are covered.
We got them all.
We got a hi, we got a hello.
So I was working on this earlier. For those of you who don't know, I'm working on special effects for an upcoming short comedy video that Ryan, Neil, Corey Tilton, and I made about a flying car. And I use these streams as a way to guilt myself into working more.
It's a good system.
What's up?
It's a good system.
It is a good system. Can you still see my monitor? Like, can you? I think you should be able to see like what I'm working on in real time, like not just After Effects or Premiere.
Oh yeah. I see your Explorer window.
Yeah.
I see your list of passwords.
Yeah. So as Dan and Neil know, I've been working a lot with this program, Topaz Video Enhance AI, which is pretty popular, but it lets you upscale videos to high resolutions, and it's pretty good at giving you something from nothing. I've been sending you both random clips of things I've been working on. I think it looks pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's really cool. Let's see. I'm gonna cheat.
I still think you should have de-interlaced everything by hand, though.
Oh, the old stuff. Yeah, that stuff is the most impressive to me, honestly. The de-interlacing. Let's see, because a lot of these drone shots that Orion did weren't at 4K. They were close to 4K. They were like 2.7K, I want to say. But getting them to native 4K or even 8K has some real perks. How are you guys doing tonight? How's your Friday evening going?
It's going okay. I got to go outside, take a little walk earlier.
Always a plus.
Mine's going all right. Watched some television. Watched the latest episode of WandaVision. Show's okay. And now I'm working on my retro video game collection while hanging out with you two.
What are you doing? You making like new Genesis boxes or something? Or
new N64 boxes right now. Working on a couple of LucasArts games that I couldn't find any suitable boxes for.
I actually have a box for Monkey Island 2. I didn't get to keep any of the games I had as a kid because we just ruined the boxes, I guess. But yeah, I love those PC-sized boxes from back in the day.
The N64 didn't have boxes, right?
No, it came in like exclusively cardboard boxes. That's why I'm making these right now, because much like with the PC games, it's just cardboard that you squish it once, it's destroyed. So
yeah,
I bought like a bunch of like PC-sized plastic cases.
Super Nintendo didn't come in boxes either, come to think of it, right?
Yeah, it was all cardboard back then, except for Genesis.
So cheap, Nintendo. Why the cheap? That would frustrate me to no end. Like that's like one reason I really like jewel cases, is they're so like uniform. I went through a phase with my Sega Genesis games about 5 years ago, where I bought a bunch of Sega Genesis aftermarket cases someone had made, and I got a Dremel, and I was like cutting out plastic chunks in the cases so they would fit those really tall EA Sports Genesis carts. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. It's therapeutic. It's like organizing comic books. Let me see. I'm just trying to make sure this works.
I'm looking at the chat. Someone said, I stopped watching Coming to America for this.
That movie's probably not great, right?
Well, that's, yeah, like someone said, what is Coming to America? A movie. Is it good? It's all right. Nice. And then the conversation kind of ended.
And that just stopped.
Yeah, it's a pretty all right movie.
It's got like, pardon the language, but isn't that like the fuck you movie. Like that's like Eddie Murphy says fuck you, and that's like the highlight of the movie. I'm serious.
Like,
That's like the big
yeah.
joke of the movie.
I don't remember.
I think
been a
it's
while
like the movie
since-
that
they're
where
making a
like got
sequel,
the idea
right?
to start making Eddie Murphy play like 4 characters per movie. I think that's where the idea came from,
Yeah.
or the seed was sown.
It finally came to fruition with the Nutty Professor.
Yeah.
We got there.
We got there. That was a major film event when I was a kid.
I saw that movie too many times. Like
Oh yeah.
it was like too popular to be on Comedy Central all the time, but like not good enough to be like a prestige movie that like would win a bunch of Oscars. You go back and watch it, it's god awful. It's very mean.
Mhm.
It's like it tries to have it both ways with like fat shaming.
It's got shallow Hal-itis.
Yeah. I saw Shallow Hal in theaters. Holy crap.
You know what movie was on Comedy Central all the time? I'm not sure if it was the same for you. Was another Jack Black vehicle, Saving Silverman?
I was talking about this movie last night with my
really?
friend Betsy and Michelle.
And I never saw it.
Don't. Unless you
Right.
unless you really like Jason Biggs and Steve Zahn.
Jack Black is like closet gay in that movie. That's like the big joke with his character, right?
For like 5 minutes, and then he's openly gay, and Steve Zahn keeps telling him he's not. It's very awkward.
There's a lot. We talked about this last time for a while, just like comedies that didn't hold up. Not even like,
all
oh,
we
these aren't
talked
funny
about.
anymore. They're just like, oh, this is mean. Neil, I don't know if this plays back at good enough of a frame rate for you, but I'm trying to do that cheat a lot of old movies did with flying special effects, where you occasionally just cut to like flying footage
Mm-hmm.
to kind of like pad out the scene. But I think it fits
That's
our
fine.
satirical look. Like so it goes from you guys here.
I will send you all the car photos. I don't know if you can see in the background under my microphone here, but there's a tiny toy car on a stick in the background, which we'll use for at least a couple shots in this movie.
Does it look close to the actual car?
It's a black sedan. It's got a sunroof that I taped over, but it's more or less the same thing.
The closest we were gonna get. They don't make 2014 Chevy Cruze models.
There is a 2013 Chevy Cruze on eBay, but it's like half the size, and I thought
Yeah.
that was too small.
I think this will work. I'm trying to find a drone shot that we're not going to use anywhere else in the video. And this to me was like the most like, hey, we're taking off kind of moment. I don't know. It'll edit well. Let me try and show you another one that I worked on earlier. This one was pretty difficult. Well, not difficult, just a lot of small touches. So there's a moment where you and Ryan look at one another and then laugh about something funny. And After Effects is not. There we go. So this might look like an easy enough shot. Can you both see it?
It's not really in real time for me, but
Yeah, it's
yeah.
because we're watching it on the YouTube.
Oh,
stream.
right. Because like the chat feed's not sharp enough.
Well, you're not sharing it in OBS Ninja.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I can turn that
Well,
on.
don't worry about that. I
probably
think
can-
that's
Can I enable director's microphone? This is gonna get bad.
yeah, because you just started echoing. That's why I was trying to tell you not to do it.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually, in this scene, Ryan and Neil look at one another, and then it immediately, like at the exact same moment, both go, nah. I actually went in and went David Fincher on this and split up the take between like the Ryan part. Let me see. The Ryan part and the Neil part. And
Were we a little out of sync or something?
just a little bit. And I just made it perfect.
Excellent.
They should pay you for that.
Perfect now.
Yeah, it's funnier now.
It's like 4 frames, but it's worth it. But
We seem more like friends now.
but it required me to go in. I had to I blurred the windows so like we could match the lens a bit better to the background. And it required me going in and literally rotoscoping your nose, Neil.
Oh boy.
So your nose wouldn't get too blurry.
Cool.
Wish After Effects would do the thing I'm trying to make it do.
Sorry if my nose was difficult to
Oh no, it was a breeze.
trace. Okay, good.
It's just After Effects. There it is. Because without this, the blur filters I was using just made your honker look weird, funny. But yeah. So, what should we work on? I mean, I have a few random shots of you guys just looking around excited while flying, but we haven't quite nailed this part of the video because it's just kind of a montage of you two flying, right? And I don't want to like sink too much time into shots we're not going to use elsewhere. I know I'm definitely going to use this one because the continuity of Ryan leaning out the window is so good.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll just do this one now, right? That makes sense.
It does.
Ryan's eyes there, his expression right there, it's fantastic.
He really sells it like he's finally happy. He's really funny on this. Like, I was going to ask you, Dan, about WandaVision. Do you prefer having to wait for episodes on streaming services, or were you kind of spoiled by the Netflix model?
I can go either way. It depends on the show and the content. Especially once you get into like the later 2010s. Because I think it was like around 2015 when like the Netflix binging started, but the shows then weren't built for it. And then they started building the shows for like that continuous watch points. And there's very clear points when it's like, you could keep watching, but we've also designed this where you could take a breather or a break.
Yeah.
Whereas WandaVision was very clearly built to be that episodic, like talk about it week to week. I don't think it's that strong in that. I think it's been a while since, a lot of larger production companies have considered that model that aren't procedural shows on network television.
Yeah.
But it's a welcome change of pace. I do have like a Discord that I'm on for my charity group where we talk about it week to week for like the first day. We're not like discussing theories because it's a Marvel property. You can pretty much guess what it's going to be, but it's still fun.
I remember when Endgame was like a year out and I was talking to you. I'm like, are people really like that? Like, it just bummed me out that like the storytelling was the last thing that mattered. I'm like, because everyone knows what's going to happen in this movie. Everyone knows they're going to go back through time.
Mm-hmm.
Captain America is going to pick up the hammer because they've been telegraphing it for like 5 years. He's going to say Avengers Assemble and you're all going to pee your pants.
Yeah, you got to let the people have their release, Kevin. Of course they know that's going to happen. Let them like go finally. All right.
But they used to be popular movies where you could have that moment, but it was clever. You know what I mean? I don't know. It wasn't clever to me. But WandaVision, like, you were talking about like water cooler TV, and like I've only heard of like the one big mic drop thing about the whole reason the show got made, pretty much. But have there been like numerous like cliffhanger like final shot moments that like you're clearly going to talk about online after you watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows the big one, right? Like you, Neil, the big one, right?
For WandaVision, I don't actually.
Oh, all right.
But we all know it. I meant Neil says he doesn't, but he does. We won't talk about it for the kids at home.
I wonder if I don't know.
I don't know what Kevin's talking about. I have an inkling, but I don't want to say anything. If
it's the big thing. Come on, it's like it's the reason that Disney bought Fox.
That's what I thought you were talking about. But I mean, this past episode and the one before it kind of revealed it more as something less important than it is.
Oh yeah, was it like it's like a dream sequence or something?
No,
You're
it
talking about
happened.
how In Living Color exists in the same universe.
Yes. Yep.
Cool.
Except without Jim Carrey.
That sucks.
That's the prestige.
That's like the worst. Like, yeah, but you still get like, David Allen Greer.
I like David Allen Greer.
I know. I like him too.
Yeah.
But because he was in Blank Man, not because he played like the gay movie critic on In Living Color.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm glad it was also Blank Man you were thinking about.
He played other guy.
I liked Blank Man when I was a kid.
I tried going back with a friend and watching it like 5 years ago, and we were real bummed.
Oh no.
It sucks. I think Meteor Man's better. If you're going for like the original like direct to video superhero stuff from around then. There was Meteor Man. I don't know if the Dark Man sequels are like fair or are a fair comparison, because those were like Universal put some real money into those. How should I put this? No, because Blank Man was in theaters, actually.
The first Blank Man one? Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, but nobody watched it until it came out on video, I assume, because that's how we saw it.
Meteor Man had to have been in theaters. Got a lot of people in it.
There was, Meteor Man, Blank Man. I mean, Pluto Nash was an actual feature film, but another
Meteor Man. Idea came to me. You would get Patterson from Meteor.
It's weird that the 90s had more like black lead superhero movies than like the golden era of superhero movies that we are in now.
Yeah, I forgot where I first heard someone point out, like, when Black Panther was coming, because that was like the sentiment. Like, oh, finally. We're finally getting a black superhero movie. And it was like, they made 3 Blade movies, and that first Blade movie is awesome. Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, that movie ruled.
Even Steel is like pretty fun.
Even if it wasn't, it existed before Black Panther.
That's true. They showed it at Trash Night at the Brattle a couple years ago, and it was the first time I'd seen it, and I was really charmed by it. I thought Shaq was great. He's huge.
Shaq really likes Superman. So to like you could just see someone convincing him to make that movie was a good idea. Steel. He's in Superman comics. It's like, oh yeah.
The old guy. We can make him hip.
So speaking of Blade, apparently Blade is not going to be rated R.
I did see that. That kind of turned me off the film, honestly.
Be that whole homogenization thing that sucks about Disney.
I think we're lucky to have gotten 3 Blade movies. I've only seen the first one though.
I haven't seen the second. I've seen the first one a bunch, and I saw the third one once, and it was bad.
The second one's pretty fun. It's definitely it is. It's also it's better produced than the first, obviously, because it had a budget at that point. But Ron Perlman's in it. And it's definitely a fun movie. It knows what it's about, and then I think Blade 3 kind of overshot what it should have been,
because he like fights Dracula in it.
In Blade 2, yes, yep.
Oh boy,
I thought he fought Dracula in Blade 3. No,
wait.
Who's the guy from Prison Break that was in one of the Blade movies with Ryan Reynolds and Jessica Biel?
Okay, that's Blade 3. Yeah, you're right. I'm conflating the two.
Yeah. That's the only that one I saw, and it was bad, but it didn't like ruin my day or anything because it's Blade. But, you know what I mean? Like a bad X-Men movie bums me out. A bad Superman movie can like ruin my month. A bad Blade movie, it's Blade.
Yeah.
The stakes are kind of low, like in terms of like the message of Blade, like fighting vampires. Like, he's just cool. That's all he's got to be.
I really like that first movie.
That movie's great. What are they? When Blade walks into the club at the beginning, the nightclub of that movie, scene in that movie, the opening is awesome. They're watching a movie, like the vampires have a movie being shown on a wall. They have a cheap projector and they're showing a movie for fun. And it's like I saw this trivia the other day and I can't remember it, but it's like kind of a funny movie for them to be watching. It's like The Lost Boys or something.
Yeah, it was like that or Nosferatu. It was some vampire flick.
Yeah, but like just the idea that can one of you look that up while I'm doing this, just because I don't know.
Sure, yeah, I'll do it.
Google, sorry, but like,
wait, Dan, you're not editing anything. Why don't you do it?
Yeah, I'll do it. I'm just here. A Blade opening scene.
You might have to go under like movie connections or something.
You're gonna get all that reliable IMDb trivia.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we are. We're in the club. Man, they had a lot of people named in the credits who did not need to be named in the credits of this movie.
I'm in credits for Ghostbusters 2016 as Scared New Yorker.
Yeah, but that's at the end. I'm talking about the movie where it's talking about like, oh, Sonya Laughlin, Eric Edwards. Like, who the heck are these people? And there's like 3 people in Blade: Chris Christopherson, Wesley Snipes, and who played Deacon Frost. He was just in True Detective season 3.
Oh, Dorff, Stephen Dorff.
Thank you. Yeah, Stephen Dorff.
Yeah. From The Gate.
Also from The Gate, yes.
He was in a Steven Seagal movie not that long ago, or I could be misremembering it. I've been listening and reading up a lot on bad Steven Seagal movies for some reason. I've only seen Under Siege 1, and I saw it when I was like 13. But man, Steven Seagal seems like a real piece of work.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I just went through the entirety of the 5-minute sequence until Blade shows up, and I don't see a movie here.
It might be like a blink and you miss it kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe.
Which more of these drone
I know what
shots?
you're talking about. I remember it, but yeah.
Yeah.
When you said it, my first I pictured like anime on a screen, but I think I'm thinking of Johnny Mnemonic or something like that.
We only went to like 3 locations for this drone footage, so we're kind of strapped for options. And like all the flying footage where it's just like flying away or towards the horizon. There's not a lot of options where it's like parallel with the ground. Like this angle is way too steep to put behind you too. You know? Unless the car was flying at like a 45-degree angle like this. I want to bring it up again. Ryan Murphy. I tried to get Ryan. I invited Ryan to come on tonight. He just didn't have the time. He's free tomorrow. But he shot all the drone stuff. And what a cool asset. Like just drone footage plus green screening a car. I don't know. Like cool combination. I know it's been done, but it is fun to just like to put the power rings together, like Ryan's drone footage and me noodling around in After Effects, and Neil, you doing the miniature shots.
Mm-hmm.
There's one shot here of the car flying near the cranberry bogs, not too far away. This is kind of steep. What do you think? Do you think it's a problem? Would be.
Do you have a similar shot that you can just reuse?
I can. It's just, I don't know. It gets monotonous, right?
I mean, it's the background.
What about this? Is it too low to the ground?
The part that's actually in the window might line up.
I'm just trying to do it for the sake of. There's like abstract montage that I think we're trying to avoid. And then there's like somewhere between like an abstract montage where you're suddenly in all these different locations and having like boring, it's the same shot over and over again. That's the sweet spot for this. I think I'm going to save Miles Standish here for Ryan waving.
Miles Standish.
Squanto.
Governor Bradford. You know that CGI turkey time travel movie Freebirds that came out like 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Apparently in that movie they go back in time to like the first Thanksgiving, and it takes place in Plymouth. It involves a bunch of like Governor Bradford is in it and stuff.
Oh, they got him.
They got him.
That movie's kind of fun.
It's got Owen Wilson. I haven't seen it, but
Yeah, there's some just random shots of Kingston. I'll just use this. If you look real close, you're gonna be able to tell the cars are reversed. But it's
it might be covered up.
That happens in Superman Returns right at the end of the movie, because that movie was made in 2006, and it just wasn't worth the money to go back out and like reshoot the helicopter shots, even though that was like $180 million movie. They're like, just use it. No one will notice, and everyone noticed it.
Oh yeah.
He's literally flying, like doing this, and then you look in the background, you can see like cars and boats. You can see a boat going backwards, like the trail on the water is getting shorter. It's distracting. Dan, I'm sure you know this as a Spider-Man fan, but you ever just look at that shot in the first movie where Spider-Man saves Mary Jane? Spoilers. And they're swinging away from something. And Mary
the mannequin shot?
Spider-Man like adoringly, and he's like, "What'd you say?"
The mannequin shot.
It's clearly a mannequin. It's like,
yeah,
he's just like.
And the weirdest thing, I mean, not the weirdest thing, but like just something they didn't think about was her hair's blowing the wrong way. If you look at it.
Yep.
That
it's not easy to do. Superman the movie made that look easy.
Just a quick update on Blade. I watched the scene twice now, and I've gone to every trivia page I know, including the notorious IMDb. Can't find anything. Maybe we imagined it.
It would be me.
Is there a different blood wave?
It didn't happen.
No, I've watched this blood rave like 3 times, and the guy who looks like Bill Paxton but is not Bill Paxton, who's lured in here, I've seen his horrified face of being bled on like 3 times now.
The shot's wonderful. It's almost a waste to make it a background plate. You know what I mean, Neil? Like,
that's what I'm saying. The shot you're talking about is like it could even just be sky, I think, from the angle you're looking at.
Yeah, I just want to make sure we get this in the video at some point. It's real pretty. And like that is like we are going for kind of like whimsy at this point.
Yeah, no, I would cut to that shot and just use it by itself, or put the toy car on top of it.
Yeah,
I think I have an angle that would work.
Kevin, quick update from the chat. They think that Scared New Yorker is the most quintessential character and important character of Ghostbusters 2016.
I'm no joke. I am in my favorite scene in that movie. It's not because I'm in it. It's just I thought it was one of the few times I really like got a kick out of something in that movie. Dan Aykroyd's cameo as a cab driver. It's corny, but it made me laugh. It was like the most like old school joke in the movie. Kristen Wiig asks a cab driver for a ride uptown, and he says, "Oh no, I don't drive that far," which made me laugh because there's like ghosts everywhere. He like doesn't care. I finished Mortal Kombat 11 the other night. Pretty good.
I didn't know you. Yeah, cool. I didn't know you could finish Mortal Kombat games.
Oh, since Mortal Kombat 8, which is Mortal Kombat versus DC, the story modes in those games are no joke. They're the best in the market of fighting games. Like they kind of set the standard with Mortal Kombat versus DC, like in a weird way, because no one was like hyped for that game. Really, it was like, yeah, sure, Batman versus Scorpion, sure. And then it turned out that the way they did stories in that game was like it basically set the mold for fighting games to come for the next decade. I don't know, Dan, am I overblowing it? Like,
Which one? Hold on. Mortal Kombat versus DC, or
yeah, the one they made before 9, where they like that was the first Mortal Kombat where it was like you went through a story mode. You'd be like watching a cutscene, and then 2 characters would decide to fight, and then the camera would become the fight screen. There'd be no loads; it would just become the fight. Like even Tekken doesn't do that stuff really.
yeah, and they've definitely improved the integration of that since at least when I remember it. Because like again, it was like cutscene, and then like the 2 combatants would say something, but like in Mortal Kombat versus DC, it's like, I don't really like you, Ice Guy. You sure are a Superman. It's like, okay, we don't got the writing down yet.
Yeah. 9 was a huge step up. 10 I only played a few minutes of, and I thought it was pretty rough from what I saw. Why is the background not popping in at the beginning here? 11's definitely the best one I've played. That depth queue between you two, like there's like this video card. I have a 1070 in this machine, and I don't know if I think it's the video card, but I have to like manually make After Effects refresh the screen sometimes to get a frame to render out in the preview, which is really frustrating. But anyways, there's a tree line behind the 2 of you, and there's a road that interrupts the tree line. And it actually does a really good job establishing distance, like speed. Like you can tell you're moving past trees. Mm-hmm. It's kind of in the perfect spot, but I'm just worried I'm going to use it too many times. It's almost a shame that we like keep blurring the background here. We have to, right? Have we come to this conclusion?
Yeah, I mean, we're making a movie. Generally, the background is not the thing that's in focus.
Well, especially because of the crop button being hit in this scene, because it's like so tight on you two, it looks like a 35, and the back seat's kind of soft. Yeah, kind of have to live with it. So that's done.
Is that footage sped up?
Yeah, 4-fold.
That might be too fast.
I think it's close enough to the trees, right?
I guess, yeah, we'll see how it like compares to like other shots. I kind of like the idea that we're just kind of like rolling around, you know, not really zooming.
You're not in super flight mode.
Exactly.
Which maybe I could do that tonight. How's the chat doing? I haven't looked at it in a while since I started talking about Blade.
They were wondering why there was only 25 people here for a second. Talking about video games they all beat recently. Someone was sad when they beat LA Noire. Pokemon games are hard to let go of.
I can see that.
Oh, yeah.
What Pokemon game have you played the most? It's red, blue, and yellow, of course, right?
Yeah, I think I played, I forget if it was red or blue. I don't know if I don't think I've played any of the other ones.
Yeah, it's blue for me. I borrowed it from a neighbor kid. And then I honestly, like, this will be a controversial statement. I found out like in the last year I don't like Pokemon games. And I haven't played that many. I've played blue, and then like 15 years passed and I played black. And then 12 years passed, or however long between black and last year, and I tried out Sword, and I went like 2 hours and I went, I don't like this. I don't like Pokemon games. I don't know why.
I think I told you about that bittersweet moment I had where Pokemon, that Pokemon Yellow, well, no, it's the Kanto region remake for the Switch they put out. I was actually kind of excited for it. I'm like, oh, maybe this is the game that gets me to buy a Switch. And then I went into a store to try it at a demo kiosk, and I played it for like 15 minutes, and it bummed me out because I didn't feel it. I didn't feel like the nostalgic whimsy I thought I would have.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get it. It kind of made me sad. I'm like, oh, like maybe like it wasn't that I thought the game was terrible or anything. It just wasn't. It reminded me how much that game is like an RPG for beginners, and you kind of can't go home again. Like I wasn't like excited to see like Bulbasaur, or you know what I mean. I thought that was going to happen to me because those games are so ingrained into a corner of my brain. But I'm sure people still liked it, you know. Are Pokemon fans generally happy with the state of those games?
I don't know.
Beats me. I mean, ask me 12 years ago when I worked in a video game store and I had to know these things.
I don't get a pissed off vibe from Pokemon fans in general.
It seems to be like with extreme fandoms, extreme's a hard word. With certain fandoms, it's not gatekeeping. It's almost like people don't want you to point out that they're being rubed. And I'm not saying Pokemon specifically does this. I guess Pokemon does kind of do it. They always put out the same game twice, the first day, kind of preying on collector types to buy the game twice, right?
I mean, the game specifically is for collector types.
But you know what I mean? Like it is a little like buy the exact same piece of software twice, like day one. It's a good scheme. But where am I going with this?
Great question.
I do wonder, because for the longest time that was the whole thing. It's like, why isn't Pokemon in 3D yet? Why is it so far behind Western RPGs and other Eastern RPGs where like it's polygonal and you can like explore a 3D space? Like Final Fantasy X came out in 2001. Pokemon Red and Blue were popular in like 99, 98. Like, so I've seen people online get really, I guess defensive is the term when you point out like, yeah, don't you like want Pokemon to like be different? Like, don't you want them to like move that forward? And it's not just Pokemon that falls into this trap, I guess. I feel like it's the best example I can think of where people they love Pokemon so much they don't have a critical eye for it, I guess.
Oh, hi, Lindsay. Lindsay's in the chat.
Hey, she told me shut up about Pokemon.
That meant, yeah, she did. And then she left.
Pokemon cards.
I mean, it's not to say like when I found out I don't like Pokemon games. I think that's what it boiled down to. Is I just don't like playing them. I still enjoy what I did play of Pokemon. I was actually just cleaning my apartment 2 weeks ago, and I had a box of stuffed animals between me and my fiance, and there were some Pokemon ones I had gotten from PAX. And then at the bottom of it, though, was a Bulbasaur plushie my sister got me back in 1997 for Christmas, which I'm like, okay, I can't get rid of that. Like, I still have attachment to that. I still like Bulbasaur. He's still my favorite Pokemon. I think I said that on Guaranteed Audio that time I was there. The games just do not capture me in any way, and that wasn't a pun, but I guess it is now.
I'm an Ivysaur guy.
I believe I was a Charmander person when I was forced to pick one of 3 arbitrary Pokemon I know nothing about.
Fire's cool.
That might have been it. Yeah.
Yeah. What was that shot I really liked? What's this one? Mortal Kombat, that new movie. Apparently, the trailer has like almost like 200 million views or something. I saw a headline earlier, like it's gonna be like a big deal. It's like, really? It looks real cheap. And obviously, I like Mortal Kombat. I just spent like 12 hours playing the story. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. Mortal Kombat's like the equivalent of picking up 2 action figures in like a sandbox at a playground and just banging them together. Like these characters don't make sense existing in the same world. Like cowboys fighting 4-armed monsters and ice ninjas and stuff. Like
Jean-Claude Van Damme, anagram,
yeah.
Analogs. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. These shots probably are not going to end up here.
Oh man! Once we started talking about Pokemon, the chat exploded and talking about Pokemon.
Excited for Final Fantasy VII. It was next on my games to play, and now they're putting out the next gen upgrade. I'm just going to wait till June because it's free. So I've been putting that game off for a long time though, like a year. Neil,
Yeah.
what do you have now for the car stuff? You said it was in a window.
In a window?
I thought you said you had sent me photos or a link to look at the car photos or video clips you had made.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I didn't do that yet.
oh,
Here's here's the conundrum with the car photos. I have them as raw files. So do you think you'll need to like alter the raw settings?
nah, I'm sure.
No?
I don't think the fidelity. I mean, if you give me JPEGs and we're like, oh, this needs to be a bit bluer, I'll just tint it blue. You know?
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking of like at least for the shots where like the stick holding up the car is covering up part of it. I need to go into Photoshop and like fix that or something.
Yeah.
But I'll just send them to you and you use whatever works, and then if there's any like more work to do on it, I can pick that up.
I guess I'll do like I'm gonna clean up this shot. This was actually the first shot I did for the whole thing. It was a test I did with Corey and Ryan. I might as well just start it all over, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, oh, is there anything I'm really gonna lose here? Because this is like I did this like back in August. You know what I mean? Like we were just doing a camera test with like fans and stuff and the lights in the right place. And
I'm working on our bats right now.
should we talk openly about that bat footage, where we got it, or no?
Maybe not. I don't know. We may have talked about it last time.
I think, yeah, I was just realizing like, well, who cares, right?
Yeah. We have a source footage of like a toy vampire bat. Or it's not a toy, it's like a, professionally made vampire bat on like blue screen. It's like taken from film. It's like scratchy 35 millimeter. And it's like 240, 360 p or something like that.
It's standard def, yeah.
Yeah. So you just like went in and upscaled it with that software and sent the clips to me, and it really looks better.
It's crazy how much better it looks.
Yeah, I loaded that in and I'm using it as particles now. So there's like hundreds of them on screen at once. And it actually isn't like running too slowly. I thought like having like particles that are, full resolution video would kill my computer, but it's doing okay.
Is there any way you can make that like your camera in OBS Ninja, and I could like I'll make it bigger for the stream just for a moment?
Sure. Yeah, hang on.
Oh, is that what that bat footage was you posted in our chat the other day? You just like, oh, I'm upscaling all these new kids video for like testing this, and then it's just like bat picture. I was like,
that's the one.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me change it so it's not my camera. It's a new screen share. Adobe After Effects. All right.
50. What the heck? Ew. I think at one point I was going to make this a 1080p video, but I just went hog on nah.
Fuck it.
Let's go nuts. Let's get the 4K going on. That's strange. Why is that option not there? That's very strange. Ah, shoot. That's why I did it that way.
You sound so disappointed.
That's right. I might have to like redo something. Hear my graphics card actually thinking. Why are you having such a hard time here, right?
Yeah, so the chat can see the screen share from Neil. It's just because it's now his camera, it's very, very tiny.
Oh, let's here. I'll
You should be able to get the direct link from.
All right, so you're showing After Effects, right, Neil?
Yeah.
Okay. I just overlaid your After Effects onto mine. It's very hammy, but it works.
There we go.
Great. There it is.
Ah, cool. Yeah, that's me. So making these bats fly in a manner that makes sense is tough. And it's like a particle emitter, so it makes sense for when they're pouring in through the window, but now I got to just make it so they're just kind of floating around our heads.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Where's the emitter? We got 7 bats per second here. Move it over there. I'm going to bring them a little bit closer. They just appear out of nowhere this way, though, so I'm not sure like how to have them drop in or something.
I think certain animals are so damn funny. You really do.
Bats, snakes.
I guess ants are probably next on the list.
We haven't made an ant video yet.
Not yet. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I like how extreme your chat filter is, Kevin, because it's making me approve. Holy shit, bats!
You can't swear.
Did I set that?
Oh, is that a YouTube thing?
Probably.
It might be. I don't know. Shoot. All right, I'll fix. I gotta fix the overlay of Neil's After Effects. Bring back my cranium.
That's what they're here for.
My head.
Without the hat, no one has said anything about it.
It's a clue. It's a ARG to promote the next Cloverfield movie. Man, I loved that when Cloverfield was coming out and they had all the ARG stuff to pump the movie up for people. Oh, I was so excited. It did disappoint. I really liked that movie.
The 2000s were a good time for ARGs, and then I don't know. We hit 2010 and everything just sucked.
What were the big ones? It was for movies. It was Cloverfield and The Dark Knight.
Yeah, Yeah. Halo 2 had a good ARG as well. I Love Bees. Yeah. You actually had to go to payphones and like hear a woman's voice. That was pretty cool.
I do not get the like direction controls on this thing.
Dan, when they put out the Ghostbusters game way back when, in 2008 or whatever, did you pre-order it?
The Ghostbusters game, that was 2009. I was working at GameStop, and I did not pre-order it because I worked there. So as soon as one came in, I just put it aside for myself.
Do you know that Dan Aykroyd like recorded a voiceover? Like, sorry, and they cold called you from GameStops, going like, "Hello, this is Ray Trent from the Ghostbusters, and your copy of Ghostbusters the game has arrived." And I remember getting the phone call, being like, "Oh, it's just a recording."
Yes, I did. I did know that.
It really got me for like a half a second. It would like blew my mind.
Evan, it's me, Dan Aykroyd.
Hey, it's me, Dan Aykroyd.
Hey.
Hey.
We're not doing Norm Macdonald yet.
Love Norm Macdonald. You know, I've recently been listening to and don't take this the wrong way, but I've been listening to old Howard Stern interviews. Someone's been uploading them to YouTube. I'm not a Howard Stern fan, really. Like I don't think I've even seen Private Parts all the way through. I hear it's good. I just never finished it. But someone's been uploading all of his old interviews to YouTube, and it's kind of interesting from a time capsule perspective. Because like I just listened to one the other day that was George Clooney came in to promote The Perfect Storm. And it was just so strange to hear like George Clooney at this point in time was just not a proven actor. Like period. Like he had done ER and people liked him in ER, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he went and did the Batman movie. That was like supposed to be like a big movie for him, you know. But The Perfect Storm was kind of like the first, like, okay, this did well because George Clooney's in it, you know, like people like this guy. But it was just, I also found another one. Howard Stern had James Cameron on right before Titanic came out, and as you can imagine, you know, a lot of like, you know, I don't know if people in the chat would remember, but Titanic at the time was being ridiculed left and right as a surefire bomb. James Cameron's entire career has kind of been people saying that every single movie. But Titanic went over budget, and James Cameron forfeited his salary and his like a good amount of, not his salary, his stake in the movie, because like he was like that willing to like not hand over creative control of the movie. So to see him on Howard Stern kind of squirming about like, what if Titanic doesn't do well? And he's like, oh, I guess I'm out of a job. Mm-hmm. It's just so weird to hear someone talk about Titanic like it wasn't like the biggest movie ever, you know?
Yeah.
It's so strange to hear James Cameron too, like really like checking himself, like, you know, because after Titanic, I bet after Titanic, he was like, I'm fucking done letting people tell me what I'm doing right and wrong because I keep delivering the goods every movie, you know?
He must have like a lucky penny or something.
He just knows what he's doing. Like we've talked about the story of him working on Aliens, right? The whole thing, like the crew like really didn't respect him because he wasn't Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
It'd like fire the whole crew.
I mean, if you know about the production of The Abyss, that calls into question whether he knows what he's doing.
The Abyss was after Aliens, right?
It was, yeah.
Like, yeah, I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That movie arguably went too far.
I feel bad about liking that movie as much as I do, from what I know about like.
No, I totally understand. That's like totally like the thing. If anyone in the chat, if you haven't seen The Abyss, there's a really cool behind the scenes documentary about The Abyss on YouTube for free. It was ripped off a DVD or a Laserdisc, I'm sure. And honestly, watch The Abyss and then watch that. I mean, The Abyss is great. Make no doubt about it. It's just, yeah, I totally know what you mean, Neil, about like the guilt association. I mean, it's not like Cameron like didn't like kill anybody or like he just like put people in a lot of danger to make a popcorn movie.
Yeah.
And popcorn's like a pejorative, but it ultimately isn't a movie. I don't know. Cameron is an artist. I have to give it to him. You know,
it's a little bit above a popcorn. It's like kind of a stealth, like trippy movie.
Well, we've seen like, I mean, movies certainly aren't like, there are movies, most big budget movies nowadays. Oh, screw it. All big budget movies nowadays are like lack a certain creative license The Abyss has. I think it's safe to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the movie he wanted to make after, like, you know, doing Aliens and Terminator, you know, and they let him get away with a lot, I guess. It's just that like so much of the movie was underwater.
And it's just dangerous to do.
Yeah.
Oh, this is driving me nuts. Like I'll be doing color correction work, right? And then like it doesn't react in real time. I'm kind of like left guessing if something like, oh, is Ryan's skin actually getting like more green or not? And I have to like scrub and force After Effects. Like I'm turning effects on and off and they're not. You know what I mean? It's just hard to know what I'm working with.
The chat is talking about watching The Cat in the Hat High.
The Mike Myers Cat in the Hat?
I assume.
I hope so.
I don't know, man.
I've never seen that. I've only watched The Cat in the Hat, like the Grinch versus the Cat in the Hat.
I've totally seen The Cat in the Hat. I saw it like in high school for some reason. It's really bad.
Yeah.
I was looking up the Wayne's World board game earlier, Neil, the VHS.
Oh, yeah? I've seen clips of that.
It's weird. All right, so get this. We could probably watch that on this stream and not get content ID'd, right?
Hey, Dana Carvey needs money. He probably has that shit on lock.
But you think so? Because the whole tape is just uploaded without. I don't know. I wonder.
I don't know. I'm just fucking
so
around.
it's a VHS tape you put in, right? And you know, Wayne and Garth start talking to you about like, hey, say this as loud as you can. Like it's like that kind of board. It's like that kind of like tape, right? Like they're trying to get everyone in the living room playing the game to like yell catchphrases at the TV.
Yeah,
for kids, because adults would never do this, right? But the weird thing is, I'll just show you. I don't want to ruin the joke. Hold on.
Let's experience this as a group.
I hope you can hear it. Help the chat. Well, you know, you don't need to hear it to understand what's funny about this.
Did you know that by studying every inch of Julia Roberts, I have achieved a doctorate in babology?
Can you hear this? Can you guys hear
Yes. He's a doctorate in babology for just studying Julia Roberts.
Neil, could you hear it?
sure. Yeah, I can.
Okay. Who's missing?
It's Garth.
Garth.
Leon, you keep playing. Speak.
They're never in the same room.
They're not in the same room.
Oh,
But they do, like, they'll like talk to each other, and it's like really awkward, like forced continuity.
at least
Oh yeah,
they're
they
not
are right
at
there.
all, you know?
Look, he's at Wayne's house, and you're.
Oh, so they at least address it.
Yeah.
What a weird product.
There was a bunch of those. I have one within arm's reach. Hang on.
But why Wayne and I don't know.
Ah,
I think you need to switch back to your
do,
camera. Yeah.
well, hang on a second. There we go. I do have a very nice box of nightmares. Or just nightmare, excuse me.
The true Nightmare fans are not happy with how you announced that.
Oh, there are fans of this series. They released
yeah.
expansions and stuff with different monsters, but this one comes with a tape of what's his name? He's like the gatekeeper or something like
Baron
that.
Samedi.
No, that's a different one. Same actor though. But that
How
guy.
do you know?
Wait, you said they released expansions. Are they releasing new VHS tapes?
Yeah, basically. So it's just like a guy dressed as some sort of creep, like talking to the camera. It's this Dutch actor who's amazing and like really committed to this very silly role. And it's fun. It's I think probably one of the more fun VHS games, and we should play it sometime.
That's probably something you can play over the internet. If it's a VHS game, we just have to watch it.
It has a board too.
Oh, there's a board aspect. That's right. Those games have boards.
Board games. Actually, it's got some pretty cool art on it of like gravestones and stuff.
Oh, that's
a
neat.
bat.
Oh, hey! Tied it in.
All right, back to my bats.
Yeah, back to the wall. Do you know what that's a reference to? It's a Simpsons bit.
Yeah, I could have.
Mo gets tricked by somebody to look at a wall while like someone escapes. So Mo keeps looking at the wall like nothing's happening. Then Homer walks in. Homer goes, "Hey Mo, what are you doing?" And Mo goes, "I'm staring at the wall." And Homer goes, "Can I do it?" And Mo goes, "Yeah, but it'll cost you $10." And Homer says, "My wallet's in the car." Runs out to grab the wallet. And then as Homer runs out, Mo's sitting there alone and he goes, "He's so stupid. Now back to the wall." So it's just Mo staring at a wall. That's the whole scene.
That seems like a post-season 8 Simpsons joke.
It's pretty funny.
Is it? What season's that?
Oh, geez. Let's pull up Frankiac. I do wonder if did people in the chat say they could hear my screen when I played that?
Did you have your speakers on or something?
What? Yeah, what was that?
It sounded like it was coming through your speakers or something.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't see anyone comment on it. I did see someone say y'all should have a mini show where you review bad movies, please.
we already did that.
Actually, we were just determining which movies were the best, not bad.
Sure, you're ranking best to
Yeah.
worst.
Only most of them were bad, and some of the good ones from an objective standpoint.
It looks like the episode is when Bart sells his soul, if I had to guess.
Oh, that's an earlier one.
Krusty gets canceled. Season 4, episode 22.
I mean, that image of Mo should have been the thumbnail now, but
What do you think the odds are they've like
And now back.
tried to make an episode where Krusty gets canceled and they're like, wait a minute, we already used that title?
It will.
I'm sure it came up. You know what? I bet you it got like most of the way through production and they went, wait a second, hold on. 1, are we tone deaf? 2, didn't we do this?
1, 3, clowns. Why does Bart like clowns?
They had like Bette Midler in the in the studio recording her lines. She's like, I swear I've done this before.
I watched one of the most infamous episodes, Saddle Sore Galactica. Forgive me if I talked about this on stream before, but it's the one where they get a horse, which they'd already done before. And like the whole episode is kind of dumping on fans that care too much about the show in a way. It's funny, and it is like a funny script in its own right. Like it's not just meta jokes, but a lot of people claim it's the episode that broke the show. It's like that and the Principal and the Pauper are considered by a lot of fans as the ones that like broke the reality of The Simpsons. And I get why, because in Saddle Sore Galactica, Neil, have you heard about this episode? Did I talk to you about this one?
I don't think so.
So Bart becomes a like a horse jockey, right?
Yeah.
And the horse, and they start winning all the races like effortlessly. It's like kind of funny how, like Homer even at one point says, like, I just want to let everyone know how incredibly easy it is to win at these. Like they really don't get into how difficult the horse racing is. Bart's just amazing at it. And the jockeys get really mad and threaten to kill Homer by luring him to their jockey lair underground. They're elves, like they're freaks. Yes. They literally call themselves freaks. And there's a scene where Homer wonders out loud, did that really happen? That seemed like a weird dream. And one of the elves shows up and goes, no, it was real. Like they're making a point, like, yes, the fantasy happened. This is insane. Nothing matters. And a lot of people thought that was too far because The Simpsons usually cared about plausibility. That episode just threw it out the window.
Well, then there's the best line in the episode, because you and I watched this.
Yes.
Drunk and high, respectively.
Yep.
Where Homer is forced by the elves to make a dive, and he goes to tell Bart that that's the plan. Doesn't mention the elves. Like, you have to lose. He goes, that's not the right way to do it. You're right. You should go win that race. I'll get those murderous trolls. And then Bart's like, wait, what? He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I meant to say, I'll get those murderous trolls. He just says the same line again.
It's good. Why is this not keeping up with the stupid? That doesn't make any sense.
I know, the car can fly.
No, it's because the car is moving. Damn it. The car is actually moving in space. That's why it's not tracking. I have to do like more work on the mask. I didn't want to do that. Speaking of the mask, you guys excited for Space Jam?
I'd be lying if I said no.
Not really.
Yeah.
But I will say the original is a really bad movie, so it's not like I care that much if it's
a fun movie. Roger Ebert liked it.
Fun, but it's not good.
I mean, yeah. But was it ever, how good was that idea ever going to be? You know?
Right. No, the idea is part of why it's bad.
Yeah. I think if Wreck-It Ralph got a chance, why can't Space Jam come back and have a chance? And I stand by it, damn it.
I just think that the Looney Tunes themselves are done wrong in that movie.
In the original?
It's the big Looney Tunes movie. Like, all right, you're going to do it this way? Sure, but at least get the characters right. And they don't.
But they made it funny. You know what I mean? Like I think I'm defensive of because Ivan Reitman had a big hand in making it.
Sure.
You know, and I think it shows for a few reasons. I don't know. That movie's funny, isn't it? Why would this stupid mask connect?
I have a special. It just reminds me of a different time.
I'll say this: the song and the opening credits.
Yes, we talked about this a lot. Yeah, those credits are. That movie's got some magic to it, I think.
A little bit. Like, basketball's cool. It's not
Michael
so cool
Jordan's
in that. I don't know. That movie
Um,
shows Michael Jordan eating McDonald's. It's not a joke. It's just like, here's what he eats, kids.
Yep.
It's like
Here we
you.
go. There's some really good jokes in that movie. I'd stand up for some of the jokes in that movie.
Oh yeah.
The opening titles are really good. The song's great. What am I forgetting about them doing the characters dirty?
Just like Lola Bunny and
Well, they made her up for that movie.
yeah, I don't know. Like, it's really not.
Lola is trashy. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just all. It's a lot of like kind of cheap jokes. It's just like very obnoxious. It's like very. It never feels like you're watching a Looney Tunes movie or short at all. You know.
Yeah.
It had like a very clear style that they just don't incorporate at all.
Well, what about the bit where I mean, I could name you like. What about the bit where they're trying to come up with a plan how they're going to beat the Monstars in basketball, and all the Looney Tunes are kind of like in panic mode, trying to come up with plans, right? Do you remember this part of the movie? This is before they get Michael Jordan to help.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, do you know what I'm going to say? Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
No, just say it.
Sylvester, they're all like in a huddle, like freaking out, like, okay, how are we supposed to beat them? And then Sylvester goes, I've got it. We'll sneak in at night. And then it cuts to like, it fades to like his plan, like what his plan is. And it's just how he's going to catch Tweety Bird and eat Tweety Bird.
Yes, I do remember this.
Cuts back to reality. They don't do like a pratfall, like Family Guy joke where everyone's quiet or whatever. They just go, yeah. And they just like he's always talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie since college. And yes, I watched that movie in college. Oh, you can still see that stupid matte line. This is rough. I gotta do a lot of more work to this. The key's good. The windshield needs a lot of work. Ryan's hands need some work.
ITV says Roger Rabbit is greater than Space Jam, honestly.
Well, duh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's not
a bunch of Oscars, and it wasn't Space Jam.
I think Roger Rabbit came out. I mean, like there's years between them, but clearly Roger Rabbit was on their mind while they were making Space Jam. And they just didn't even I think their plan was like, let's not even try to be comparable. Let's make the shitty version of this.
It was a commercial first, right? Space Jam was a Nike commercial.
Really liked, yeah.
I will say this: Roger Rabbit is really not for kids.
No, it's not.
Roger Rabbit, man. The last time I watched that movie front to back, I wasn't prepared. I saw that movie when I was like 4, and I really liked it. And then watching it as an adult, I wasn't prepared for when Eddie develops the photos in the camera. Do you remember that scene?
And
the patty cake.
The patty cake. Yeah.
But he's like, I finally got the patty cake, and then he gets to the. But the thing is, remember how he's borrowing the camera off of what's her name, Doris?
Yeah.
He gets past the patty cake photos, and he discovers there were more. Like he was borrowing the camera. They were still filming that camera, which is what Doris said. She goes, "There's still some film in that camera, right?" So it's an old roll of film, and the rest of the roll of film is photos of Eddie with his dead brother and Doris at the beach. And it just ruined me. Like I was like not prepared. I was like, oh, this this movie's not supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Come on. Get to the part where the car is horny or something.
No, the baby is horny.
Yeah, the car just had a smoking problem.
Yeah. And the director of the film is horny, but the car is fine.
That's a great movie.
It is, yeah.
People are talking about the new Tom and Jerry movie that just came out, which I didn't even hear about till like yesterday.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today and how like Tom and Jerry's kind of like this undead brand that just kind of won't go away.
Disney does it all the time. Warner Brothers is going to keep trying. They need to. Like owning IP is like all that matters these days. It's depressing. Why can't I get like the edge off of Ryan here? Is it just because there's motion blur? Thanks for doing this, by the way. I always have to bring up thank you. I know this is boring.
It's all right. You're welcome. I yeah. I enjoy being here.
I love the idea. Let's be honest. Space Jam isn't as good as Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's like, well, no kidding. That's like saying Back to the Future is better than Hot Tub Time Machine. It's like, yeah.
You're almost being unfair to Space Jam.
Oh, and the Hot Tub Time Machine thing?
Oh, no, just like as a general, like.
Oh, yeah.
The soundtrack overall for Space Jam, I think is really well done. There's a lot of good tracks in there, not just the opening Space Jam song.
Yeah, all the music's really memorable to me.
Yeah,
R. Kelly song is
Dumpster Fire. That song's good.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Unfortunate.
Oh, but you get that cool like Basketball Jones song and
Hit 'em high.
The theme.
Yeah.
Which rules.
And Fly Like an Eagle, whatever that song is, that's on there, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like a really cheap cover of it, right?
Oh, yeah, probably.
I don't think I think it's just in there for like 2 seconds. And I think they just kind of did a little bit of a weird mix to it.
What the hell? That's strange. Why is Ryan's finger not? Oh. This is driving me nuts. So look at this, Neil. So again, I have to shift to the frame. So there's Ryan's hand, right?
Yeah.
It's gonna turn on the Luma key. Watch the tip of this is pinky. It's fine now.
Yeah.
That was weird. It was like cut at like a sharp angle before. It looks like it's being like cut off. See it?
It looked fine from the preview I just saw, but
yeah,
my preview's also like tiny.
This is the drive me crazy. You see it? Yeah, it's almost like a 15-degree angle.
Yeah, I don't know why. It might have something to do with the mask. Like maybe it's
the edge in too extreme. That's it. Man, I just don't want this like black contamination around it. It looks
I mean, the
crappy.
missing part wasn't really noticeable.
You see it, right? Like, I mean, now the contamination's way worse, right? Is the chat talking about Space Jam?
Uh,
I hope whoever said that thing about Who Framed Roger Rabbit doesn't think we were picking on them.
No.
Which is funny to like, yeah. No one's gonna. The only person who would have that argument out with you isn't your friend. Don't. If someone ever starts trying to have like a real heart to heart about that, like they're trolling you. We could talk about more video games and stuff. I mean, I don't know. I figured you two would have plenty to talk about.
I just played Bowser's Fury for the Switch.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It was a very delightful tech demo.
It's like open world kind of, right?
Yeah, open world Mario. You can beat it in about 2 hours, and it was fun. I mean, it was good.
hours.
Yeah, 4 hours if you want to 100% it. But yeah, like I said, it's like a tech demo more than a full game. That's why they tacked it on to the other game they're re-releasing.
Yeah.
I think that's all I've played lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Neil, did you or Ming fire up Donut County?
No, it's still sitting in the exact same spot on Ming's desk.
I think
You
you'll
just get it, like make sure like the code doesn't expire or something.
Jeez.
We will. Oh yeah, definitely. We finished Detroit Become Human.
The Luma key thing is not doing it. I don't...
Grilled Cheese asks, do you guys play VR lately? It's a question for you because you have the VR helmet.
The last time I played VR, I hooked it up so around Christmas, my cousin's son really likes Minecraft, and he's 7, and he didn't know you could play it in VR. So when he came over around the holidays, I had like hooked it up in the living room, and like he just sat down and he had no idea what he was in for, and he like lost it. Like he like was like so transfixed by it. But that was probably the last time I think I played a little bit of Resident Evil 7 DLC that week. I really like Resident Evil 7. Neil and Dan have both recommended me like this is like the second coming of entertainment. Like this is it. They did it. We all thought they would do it, and they finally did it. I don't think the new Resident Evil is going to be in VR, which is a bummer.
Yeah, I haven't played enough VR. Let's see. Yeah, I played Super Hot at your place, Kevin, and then
Job Simulator, probably.
Job Simulator, and then Drunken Bar Fights with you and Neil.
I forgot about that one.
That game sucks, but it's a lot of fun.
That's the only VR game that made me sick.
Well, yeah, it was clearly like made in like a weekend. Like I don't know. What about did I show you Megaton Rainfall?
Nope.
That's a good one. Made by one person. It's a obviously it's first person. It's basically imagine the gameplay of something like not Asteroids. Missile Command. Right? No, Galaga, you know, like things are coming down to attack and you have to fight them off, right? But imagine it's in first person and the level is the world itself and you're like god tier Superman. Like you can like fly around the entire world wicked fast and like laser fight and punch and stuff. It's pretty cool. I hear it's better on PC than PlayStation because it's just, I mean, it's pretty fun. Megaton Rainfall. It's hard to describe. If you want to see it, Dan. I'm actually surprised I never showed you this. Neil, I had Joe and Jordan come over to play this once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did show me this. Yes, this looks very familiar now.
Yeah, I think I maybe. Actually, no.
You kept doing this a lot. You're like,
well, that's how you that's how you do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember this.
One person made this.
Beats. Have you ever played Beat Saber? Yes, I have played Beat Saber. Drunken at a New Year's party at my next door neighbor's house. Fun game.
I like Beat Saber. I like Box VR, which is a lot like Beat Saber. Only it's more it's like more directly designed to be a cardiovascular workout game. Super Hot's probably the best VR game though, right?
At least in my experience. I mean, I remember we were playing with our other mutual friend Anthony, and he got so into it he went to like grab onto a wall in the game to lift him. He was like ducking really low. He wanted to get back up, so he went to like grab a wall.
And he actually
did it and fell over because there wasn't a freaking wall there.
Ryan Murphy famously karate chopped through a bookshelf at my apartment playing that game, like twice in 10 minutes. Then we were like, no, this isn't working. I got a motion track that stupid windshield, or I could just blow the shot up a little bit, right, Neil? That's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone asked me what I'm drinking. I am drinking just Johnny Walker Black, but it's the special. I don't know how NVIDIA is going to handle that. The Game of Thrones one that is very smoky. I've had this for a couple of years. I'm honestly just finishing it off.
Dan, when am I going to be able to buy a new graphics card?
Kevin, what if I told you? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I need one too.
I might set up Twitter alerts because I kind of want to get a 3070 because I've been reading. So I'm A+ certified. I studied computer assembly. I've built every computer I've owned since high school. Studied electrical engineering for 4 years. I've been a video editor since high school. I'm paid to do it. It's my salaried job. I'm doing it right now for fun on the internet. I still don't understand why certain graphics cards are better for video editing than others, because people will just arbitrarily throw out. There's always a new metric. Like every 3 years, it's like, oh, it's all about the CUDA cores. Oh, it's all about the shaders. Oh, it's all about the clock speed. It's all about the amount of RAM. It's about the speed of the RAM. And at a certain point, I feel like I'm finding it very hard to find a consistent benchmark, like a metric I can trust that lets me know if you pay $700 to get a 3070, you are going to see an appreciable leap from your 1070, which is what I have now. And Neil, if I do get a 3070, I can give you my 1070. I don't know if it's better than your Quadro 2000.
K2000, yeah.
Oh, if you need a 1070, I got one behind this orange screen because I have a 3080 in my computer right now, and that thing's collecting dust.
Okay, so you had a 1070?
I have a 1070 on, in the corner. Yeah.
Okay, you had the same card I had.
Yes.
The thing is, you're using it mostly for games, though, right?
Yes, I'm using it for games. I do some editing and After Effects work, but not as much as both of you.
Did you do any? Can you speak to the leap in After Effects and video editing? Like, did you notice
from the 1070 to the 3080, or from what Neil has to the 1070?
To the 1070 to 3080.
I've only had it for about 3 weeks, so I haven't done anything yet with it. But I'll let you know. But yes, if you do need a 1070, let me know.
I got to do more research, but I guess
those are the ones everyone's clambering over. Like I saw a headline that literally said, "This is the 3080, the 3060, and the 3080 are a once in a decade leap in video card technology." Because they weren't the first ones with ray tracing hardware. They were like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. They're like the second gen of ray tracing hardware from NVIDIA. I don't think I will ever use that. I just don't play PC games that much. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you're making computer fighters again, we would use it for some of the CG because that's a weird technique for computer animation, ray tracing. And we used it in computer fighters because we were trying to do like that really crappy hodgepodge lawnmower man style 3D, right? But Dan, I'm sure in games it's like night and day, right?
Oh, most definitely. But yeah, you were right. It is the second generation cards with ray tracing. The first were the 20 series. This is the 30 series now. They tried to do some like back end firmware updates to the 10 series cards, like for your 1070 to do ray tracing, and it doesn't work. But they tried. But yeah, my biggest example was the game Control, which I bought a year and a half ago, recommendation from a friend. Played it, and he was like, it looks really great with ray tracing because he had a 20 series card at the time. And I tried it and it looked okay. I'm like, you know what? He said there's certain aspects of that game that are enhanced by the ray tracing because of like some effects later on when you get more powers, I guess. And I was like, you know what? I'll wait. I waited. I have the 3080 now. Absolutely night and day.
The reflection, the ray tracing stuff in Control. This is gonna sound so silly, but it's like the reflections in like leather sofas, because leather does reflect things. It's just super diffused, right? It's not a mirror or water. But I saw some tech demonstrations of ray tracing in Control that showed that off, and I was really impressed. That game's cool as hell. I think I've talked to you about that one, Neil, right? Control, the one that's kind of like SCP.
What?
Do you know what SCP is?
Oh, like the fiction thing.
Yeah. Imagine if the team who made Max Payne made a game that was just like about a faux government agency building that like housed all these horrors. It was like the federal government's attempt at understanding the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game. It's pretty damn cool. It's got James McCaffrey in it, who I love.
Nice.
It's cool. I could show you it sometime. Well, I could stream it to you. It's on PlayStation 4, but I mean, I don't know if it'd be your cup of tea. It's like a third-person action game. So it's like, it's like a Max Payne.
Let's see. Hampton Comics asks, what's your favorite guaranteed video, Kevin?
Out of all the ones we've made?
Yeah.
Why do you gotta make me talk about myself? Year of the Snake, probably.
Yeah.
It's either Year of the Snake. I have a real soft spot for Lawn Mowing Man, just because it's just so like in and out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've talked about it before. I just think the filmic merits of Year of the Snake are so just up there. I think we really nailed the look of it, and the tones. It's exactly what we wanted. I thought the script Neil wrote was so funny. I thought Ryan really got the subtextual dirtbag thing down. Like every line in that movie, you're like, this guy is kind of an ass. This guy, like you start with him, like he's the POV of the story, and then as time goes on, you kind of pick up. Even when he says, "Listen, I'm going to go stay the night at my girlfriend's," like, there's something really skeezy about the way he says it.
Yeah,
you're like, he's got.
He came home and brought the snake to leave the snake anyways because he was planning to go.
Waste of $20. Throws the animal in the trash, and you just assume like, okay, that's shitty, but at least it'll be a dumpster outside. No, it's like a 13-gallon trash bag in the kitchen.
Not even in a bucket. It's just a loose bag sitting in the kitchen. Let's see. This one asked if I play Animal Crossing at all. Not really. My wife plays it. I played it a bit when we first got it, and not my thing so much. More of a The Sims kind of guy.
Do you think I should try and map a reflection onto the door reflection in the car?
Did you do it on the mirror? The back of the mirror there?
Where?
Like the
it's on the hood. Mirror. It's kind of crudely done, but it's on the windshield. It's not great, but it's there.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't know. Just like there's I'm seeing some blue on the back of not the windshield, the back of the side view mirror.
Nah. Interesting though.
Well, yeah, what is that? It looks like
probably a reflection of me.
Yeah.
Filming it. Still looks weird. It's a weird shot.
I'd add maybe a little wiggle to the footage.
The whole thing?
Yeah, or like make it bob or something. I don't know.
I have the car do that.
That's what I mean.
Oh, wait a minute. It's too late. Well, no, it's not too late. Hold on.
some more questions from the chat. In regards to Year of the Snake, how did you get the snake to move? Was it with string or something else?
It was very difficult.
It was.
point
First
where,
of
like,
all,
Go ahead, Neil.
I had to find a rubber snake, which is easy, but the rubber they use nowadays and the mold they use for the snake, it's kind of a hard rubber, and toy snakes always come with like a built-in coil to them. So they like rest in a circle, and you can't straighten them out. You can't turn them to face the other direction. So you can't really like puppeteer them or anything. So I had to get one, and I zapped it with a hair dryer for a long time to like straighten it out. And
We
then
were, like, I felt bad because like it was like stressful.
it was a little
like-
stressful.
Yeah.
Well, it was just like there was a time crunch. I had to like order something from Amazon. It got there a couple days before.
Yeah.
And then like if that didn't work, then like we wouldn't have a good snake. But it worked okay, and we had to like cover it in olive oil to make it move around on the floor.
Yeah.
And we just dragged it. But yeah, it worked pretty well. I like it when you can see the string a little bit.
Yeah. I thought the humor was perfect. I think your score was great. I think your color correction was awesome.
Thank you.
Hold on thing. I really think that's just it's like frustrating to watch and be like, oh, why can't that always be the way it is, you know? But like, you can't make them like that every time, because we've talked about this where I go, like, we can't just keep making fake Goosebumps episodes. And you go, yeah, but they're so fun. I'm like, I know, but we made like 3 in 1 year.
Also from chat, Sinead Carey asks Neil, which sim games is the best? Which one?
I was kind of joking about that. I haven't played The Sims since The Sims 2, I think.
There's your answer.
I have a copy of it. I have a copy of 3 just like sitting over here that I've been meaning to throw on. I don't know where I got the disc. I think we bought it back in the day, and maybe like someone else in my family played it, but I don't know. I have very positive memories of The Sims 2.
This is fun. I never got why people played The Sims on console.
Oh yeah, that's a weird choice.
Yeah, they're always like so hampered. Like they weren't The Sims. You know what I mean? Like that's not the game. You know, like.
Oh, were the console versions like much different?
I mean, it was just so like a PlayStation 2 had 32 megabytes of RAM, and in 2003 or whatever, I mean, I know you could hook up a keyboard to a PlayStation 2 and everything, but just like the resolution of that screen and everything, and like the internet connection and all that stuff, like The Sims, you just weren't like. I'm sure you could make houses and stuff in it, but it was probably much more truncated. It probably wasn't like the real. The Sims is supposed to be about like this crazy sandbox, you know. Not crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of like like it's a game you kind of need a mouse for, you know.
Yeah, I agree. We once, when we didn't have enough controllers and we wanted to play Red Faction 4, Red Faction 2, but in 4-player, we hooked up a bunch of controllers to the PlayStation 2, and sorry, this is being very weird. We hooked up a multi-tap and 3 controllers, but we had 4 people. And my friend Pat, Pat Cable, Pat, Neil?
I used to run into him at like the mall and stuff.
Yeah, Pat was cool. Pat had a keyboard and mouse on him, and he just plugged in a USB keyboard and mouse to see if it would work, and it worked. The PS2 supported it.
Oh,
which is cool. Love that damn console.
So Kevin, I'm doing the bat close-ups now.
Oh, that's why it's not working. Yeah.
It's weird. Like the shot where like Ryan's arm keeps going like in front of the camera and stuff.
Yeah.
So the bats are going to be in front of his hand. It's going to look weird.
I can roto it if we have to, or use some Luma keys and things like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that. I'm just focusing on the bats right now. I don't know if they're the right size. I got to do a better job like hiding the pole underneath them too.
Shot looks weaker than it should. I'm probably gonna fix it off stream. Sims stream when?
Someone said apparently they showed the New Kids Christmas special to their mom, and the mom commented that they're going all that way just to save a dog.
My parents watched the pilot for Superman and Lois, and my dad told me the day after, he's like, I watched it and I really liked it, but I just don't need all the Superman stuff. And I thought that was a really funny takeaway, because like it gets very big, and like it does like blockbuster movie fight scenes and stuff, and it just doesn't need it, which is a weird takeaway. I hope that show's okay. I was into the pilot. Yeah, what brand glasses do you wear?
These are from CE Eyewear, SEE in Harvard Square.
Grilled Cheese asked, Simpsons Hit and Run stream. That game is great. I got a copy. So this is so nerdy, but I soft modded a PlayStation, my PlayStation 2, about 8-9 months ago, and I put an SSD in it. Neil, you probably would get a kick out of this. The PlayStation 2 had a hard drive bay in the back, that when you bought a PlayStation 2, it had nothing in it because they hadn't figured out how they were going to make them console modular. Mm-hmm. So at one point they put out an Ethernet and RJ45, a phone connection and an Ethernet connection modem adapter. And you took the back of the PlayStation 2 off and you screwed this thing into it. You bought for like $30 and it lets you play games on the internet or over LAN, right?
Wow.
But this network adapter that connected through a SATA port gave you an IDE, I think this thing, an interface for a hard drive. And only like 4 games ever really used it. It was like MMOs were going to use it on the PlayStation 2. But someone put out a soft mod memory card you can buy off Amazon for like $8. You put the memory card in your PlayStation 2 and it lets you run software off that hard drive port. So I put a solid state hard drive in my PlayStation 2 and I ripped all my PlayStation 2 discs to it. And now I can play all my PlayStation 2 games without any optical media. It just loads it off the SSD instantly, which is pretty cool. And I played some Simpsons Hit and Run for a couple of nights, some Silent Hill 4. It's pretty cool. I like soft modding, stuff like that.
Cool.
There are a lot of Simpsons games, huh?
Are there? I'm aware of like 4.
There's Bart's Nightmare, right?
Yeah, that's one.
There's Krusty's Funhouse. You never heard of that? It's like a lemon
that one, yeah,
type of game. Simpsons Wrestling, Hit and Run. Yep. Simpsons. What's the crazy taxi one?
Road Rage.
The Simpsons game, which was based off the movie, or might be based off the movie.
Which one's the like 4-player beat 'em up side scroller?
The Simpsons arcade game.
The Simpsons arcade game, yeah. It's a 5 for me.
Yeah. It was one of the Simpsons skateboarding, Virtual Bart, The Simpsons, Art versus the same Space Mutants, Tapped Out, which I know Ryan's actually still a really big fan of. Bartman, Bart's House of Weirdness, The Simpsons, Night of the Living Treehouse of Horror, which is a Game Boy Color game.
That's a title.
Bart versus the World on the NES. Bart Man meets Radioactive Man. It's a PC game. Bart versus there's a lot of bad Game Boy games with Bart Simpson's face stuck on it. The Simpsons Bowling. There's no shortage of Simpsons games. I'm sure they're all great. Ooh, Hideo Kojima directed one.
Sinead again asks in the chat if we've heard of Fuser. I have heard of Fuser. I've played it. It's a pretty fun game.
That's the mashup one?
Yes.
It's hard to stream.
Is it? Oh, well, yeah, because of all of the rights associated.
There's Blizzard just put out a compilation of retro video games they made. And in it, they put Rock and Roll Racing. And Rock and Roll Racing, have you ever heard of this game?
From SNES?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they put out a version with like, they actually licensed like George Thorogood and a bunch of like rock and roll standard songs for this new version. Mm-hmm. But they had to like put out a press release saying, don't stream this game. Because, you know. We know that's the hook, but don't exploit the hook.
I don't think that would happen with the original. It has like a bunch of rock songs, but they're like Super Nintendo music versions.
This looks better, I guess. I'm still not too thrilled with it. It's better. I don't think there's a lot of snow on the ground, so maybe I could get that shot of. I want to get my dad to have a cameo in this one, and I kept thinking I would have Ryan yell hello, and then we'd cut down to the ground, a drone shot from like way up of like my dad raking, going, "Wow, that's one amazing aerodynamic quadricylindrical fly." Like, and in mid sentence, it would cut back to Ryan in the car talking to like my dad wouldn't even be able to get it out of his mouth in time. But if the weather doesn't cooperate and there's still too much snow on the ground the next few days, I guess we're probably just going to cut to like that Miles Standish statue. I don't know.
Make its mouth open. Hello.
Like something out of like Speed Demon, that Michael Jackson claymation, where he like talks to the Statue of Liberty. Man.
Speed Demon.
How does that look to you, Neil? Hold on. Can you see?
I can see.
That's chopping up all of a sudden. Why was chopping up so much? Didn't need to. It's pre-rendered.
I mean, I'm seeing a poor quality version of it anyway. So.
Yeah, well, I guess. I'll tweak the color grade later because Ryan looks a little purple to me. Dan, I need to get a monitor recommendation from you. I need a third monitor, and you're the closest person I know.
Because I have 3 monitors, Kevin.
Yeah,
is that all I am to you?
Bill Gates only has 2.
All right, what do you need? Do you need a side monitor, or do you need a fucking front panel?
Honestly, it's going to be. I'm going to have to look up. I'm probably going to spend like close to $1,000 and get like a color grading monitor, and take my current color grading monitor and make that my Premiere monitor, and then take my current like desktop monitor for browser or whatever, and make that like a vertical, like whatever checklist monitor.
Yeah, because I have 2 vertical monitors, and then I have my workspace / gaming monitor.
Yeah.
Yep. But I feel like that's a larger discussion that shouldn't happen during the stream.
Neil took the Cowards / efficient person's way out and just got one really wide monitor. How wide
it's
is it?
cool, but I am just like I have, like 50 years of experience with just maximizing Windows, and that doesn't always work now.
That's kind of funny.
It's like a lot of websites now. It's just like having to read like such a wide. I don't know.
It depends on the site if they formatted it properly.
Yeah. Not
Here's
only I have a second monitor too, though. The wide one was not enough because it still feels like just one monitor, even though it's super wide.
Here's a comment from the chat. User Flynn writes, "Hey Kevin, I'm the dude who made the New Kids on the Rock fan art from your last stream, and I was born in 2003. I have no idea and don't understand what the 90s Animorphs look like."
I think I'll pull it up. I think I can find it. I don't know if I downloaded it. I must have, because whenever, I'm not gonna lie, whenever I see fan art of New Kids, I immediately send it to Ryan and Neil.
That makes me. I hope this person has at least read the new graphic novel Animorphs at the very least to see what an Andalite looks like.
Oh, there's a new thing?
Yeah, Kevin told me about this, so Kevin, you
I
talk
have it.
about
I
it.
can go grab it if you want to see it. But no, they I'm sorry, what was the
Flynn.
Flynn made these. Flynn, I just want, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but you wrote easthollywoodtv.com. It's hollywoodeasttv.com at the very top here. I jokingly said that this art reminded me of an Animorphs, reminded me of the Animorphs. It has a very late 90s deviant art Animorphs fan art page look to it, and I mean that in the best way possible. I like how stoic Ryan, Neil, and I looked, and it made me smile.
Oh yeah, like it's like the world, like the fate of the world falls on us. Is that what you're getting at, basically?
Yeah, and like I also love you even got the color coding down and everything. You got our bad guys. You've got my old dog, Faith, who played Rocky. He looks kind of like a seal here because seals and dogs look a lot alike. I don't know. I like how much that's heavily predicated on the Christmas episode.
I like how blue they made my eyes. That's all I'll say.
I have the Animorphs graphic novel over there, but I'm in my pajama pants. And I don't want to get up to go grab it. I mean, I guess I could turn off my camera.
The dude who did the art for that, he sells prints of the inside cover of the Morphs, and I kind of want to get one for our friend Brooke's birthday.
Oh, raccoon?
Yeah, when Axe morphs into a raccoon in like book 25 or some shit.
Oh wait, you mean the original books?
Yeah, like the original books, like the artist
Oh.
who did the renders for all of that sells them on his own website. Yeah,
that's really cool. That's
I'll link it. I'll find
Ryan
it.
doesn't watch this because I'm gonna have to get Ryan one because that's like one of like the me Ryan things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Animorphs, which explains the questioning, right, Neil?
David Mattingly, that's his name. What's that in our chat? Take a look. Go give him some money if you want.
I'm just fiddling with color, but I still feel like Ryan's too orange. It's really hard to get right. Using vector scopes would be smarter. Instagram's too of you. Whatever, he looks fine. Give me one moment. We're off camera, but people can hear us.
Wait, what?
I made our cameras invisible so I could grab a comic book.
Oh, okay. While you're grabbing that, someone asks our thoughts on Super Smash Brothers. It's okay. The fans of Melee are jackasses from experience.
Nice.
Got this for Christmas and I haven't had time to read it yet. I heard it was fun.
I purchased it on Kindle and read it after you said it existed. So I was like, oh, I got to see this.
Is it good?
It is. It misses some of the nuance of the actual books because, the books are told from the kid's perspective. Each book, Jake, Rachel. So there's no internal dialogue. So like as someone who's read the books, I know kind of what the characters or kind of remember what the characters are thinking in these moments, but it's done as if it's, a cartoon or a show where it's a step removed from that.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's still good. Still a lot of death in Animorphs.
How's the angst?
It's there. I mean, the first couple of books didn't have the angst as bad as, once Marco found out Visor 1 was his mom.
I was going to say book 5.
Yeah, book 5. Spoiler for all those kids who haven't read Animorphs yet.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that's early. It's like a 60-book series.
Yeah.
I won't even get into the Elemist.
I'm trying to think. Last time I played Smash Brothers. Played it once in high school, and I had that like Nintendo multiplayer experience that a lot of people have where everyone else in the room really knows what they're doing and you don't because they played it a lot. So like I just couldn't wrap my head around like what on earth I was supposed to do.
Are you talking about Smash Brothers?
Yeah. This is a long
time
ago.
I feel the same way.
I mean,
I'm more of a Mario Kart guy because I feel like that's still fun if you're bad at it.
Yeah, it kind of plays itself. That's kind of like the secret sauce of Mario Kart, which it sounds like such a punching down thing, but it's true. Like when people talk about rubber banding in video games, like they learned that term from Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
The worst I've ever seen was probably Little Big Planet kart racing. Really bummed me out because I really liked Mod Nation Racers, which was made by the same studio. And then their follow-up to that game was they made a sequel that was rebranded Little Big Planet Karting. And it just they put a ton of rubber banding in it. It played a lot like Mario Kart all of a sudden. Whereas the first game played more like Diddy Kong Kart, whatever it was called.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah. It was better than Diddy Kong Racing, in my opinion. Man, Mod Nation Racers was cool. They bring that back. That's right. Because like Sony has like a handful of games that are incredibly like lucratively and critically successful. And there's just no point in not putting their resources into making more God of War, more, whatever the hell Naughty Dog wants to make, It's like kind of a bummer. I was reading someone talking about this online earlier. They're like, oh, Sony used to have a more diverse lineup of video games. And they did. The PS3 was kind of like nuts. Like they would make like a really good game and then make like 3 of them. And I like that new God of War game a lot.
I gotta finish that.
Yeah, I'm not really complaining. It's just it is a shame. Like I miss like the days of like, Warhawk and we're talking about Smash Brothers. I even like that friggin' All Stars game, as Dan knows. Despite the roster stinking. That's stinking. Just like if you're gonna make the Sony Smash Brothers game, you need Crash. You need Solid Snake. There's like certain characters that are just so like that's the PlayStation, Ernest Trailers. Neil, Ernest Trailers is in the chat.
Ernest Trailers.
Ernest Trailers. I really liked your Nash trailer.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. Earthling Plant says they did Parappa dirty. Neil, Sinead Gary, my go-to was Jack and Daxter with All Stars. They played just like Jack and Daxter. Like they had all the double jumps and everything down, like the perfect animation. Just it felt exactly like those PS2 games. Neil, people are asking about Neil Cart 64. Do you remember making that?
Yeah. I don't remember why. I don't remember what inspired it. I just remember, yeah, like my aunt and uncle and cousins were visiting. So like they're all like visible in like the living room. That's why there's just like a whole bunch of people applauding me at the end.
You had to own it.
Yeah. I must have had some sort of like cart I could roll around on, like a literal like, you know, like mechanics skateboard, whatever those things are called.
How's the color look in this to you?
Well, I have flux on, so I wouldn't. Don't trust the eyes.
Ryan looks a little yellow,
Yeah,
and
that's what
I'm double checking if I have flux on. I don't.
It's worse to turn it off though, because then your eyes. Yeah.
You ever do either of you have smart bulbs in your homes?
Yep.
You ever make a room blue and then walk into another room that has no light and everything everything in the shadow looks kind of red because the cones of your eyes are adjusting?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool. Makes you a little scared about getting older, but
The weird thing is, if it's like a dark room and I'm reading my phone, and it's bright enough that I'm closing one eye to read my phone, and then you stop doing that and you go and look at something else, and one eye is brighter than the other.
oh yeah.
It's weird as hell.
Does Ryan still look yellow?
A little better, I think. Yeah.
Slightly better.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Close premiere. It's getting kind of late, right? 11:30.
Yeah.
So Neil, I guess you're gonna work on the bats.
Yeah. I just remembered that you don't have
Trap code
particular, so I'll probably need to just render out the spat stuff. But I have everything in place. Some of it works better than other bits, so I'll just render this and see how it looks.
Just reading the chat a little bit. Next podcast when? We should do another podcast soon. Ryan, Neil, and I have talked a bit about doing more Vidnight Society, but I feel like we should do those in person. Under the guaranteed audio is definitely due. Whenever this is done, we're absolutely going to do a post-mortem podcast with Corey, all four of us, Ryan, Neil, Corey, and I. Yeah, we should do another podcast soon. Neil, can we talk a little bit about the music video I suggested for the next Midnight episode?
Oh, sure.
I want to do Kid Rock's Amen because it might be the single worst music video I have ever seen.
I couldn't even finish watching it.
It's awful. It gets worse as it goes along.
And I think the music video is not worse than the song, which is truly awful.
Truly awful.
And it like calls like everything wrong with the world today. It's from 2009.
Yeah. He starts talking, Kid Rock talking about like predatory priests and then segueing into like, hey, don't give me an attitude if I smoke weed. Like what? What? What is your problem? Well, I got 3 more shots done. So that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
Hope the chat had a good time. I'm pretty pooped, as you can tell. I got a long weekend ahead. Hope you guys have a good weekend, Dan and Neil. To hell with the chat.
I hope that everyone in the chat has the same weekend they were going to have before I stuck my nose in, I don't know.
Yeah, I hope we didn't negatively affect anyone's weekend by watching us tonight, and you all enjoy both Kevin and Neil your weekend and the chat your weekend as well.
Yeah.
Gonna try. I might go find there's a bald eagle nest a friend of mine discovered about 20 minutes away from here. I'm gonna go try and get some bird photos on Sunday.
Nice.
I don't know why
During a pandemic.
I kind of just pictured you like, I'm gonna go find a bald eagle and fight it. That's where I thought that was going.
I'm imagining like an Ace Ventura like scene, like where you're like at the top of a mountain or something, like dressed as a bald eagle with a little camera or something.
If New Kids on the Rock was syndicated and we had to make hundreds of episodes of it, that'd be like our 30th idea.
Yeah.
Like Kevin fights a bald eagle.
Kevin, you can't keep doing this.
Next idea. Ryan finds treasure. Next episode. Great idea. Still want to make the tale of the glowing sword, Neil. I still like that broad concept. That's that sword.
Prop lightsaber.
What?
You could just use a lightsaber.
No, the idea is it's a medieval sword that's its powers, it glows.
It's not a very good sword otherwise.
Yeah, the tale of the glowing sword. Nothing particularly impressive about it.
Yeah. Makes you sick after a while.
It has Ryan's voice.
Oh yeah. So it talks too. That's more impressive.
They were supposed to, yeah, like at one point, like you would use the glowing sword in a fight against someone, and as Ryan speaks through the sword, it would like glow and sync with his dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
That was the idea. And Ryan, as the voice of the sword, would be like, "Quick, aim me at their eyes, I'll blind them." Like, you know. Ding, like out of Shadow of the Colossus. All right, I'm delirious. I'm too tired. That was fun. I hope everyone has a good night. Say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
Toodles.